Yeah, so I'm not gonna give you like the full background. I think you already got that already. So I'm gonna do more of my role in the company. So I kind of wear two hats. One is the daily operation. So I am the operations officer, and my other job is the development officer. So I am in charge of all of the new developments, from lease signing to construction to design, and then to the grand opening as well. So that's kind of my role. So it's kind of like juggling two jobs, but actually it complements each other. So I don't feel a lot of pressure or stress.
But that's a lot though.
It is, but it kind of goes hand in hand. So, you know, you have to know the operation and to develop a highly efficient salon where you utilize every single square footage that we have. We don't try to over expand by saying that we need 5,000 square feet. You're not gonna able to use 5,000 square feet. So our ideal size is between 3,000 to 3,500, and that is the most efficient for us.
Okay. So since you said you are in charge of like the developments, operations, then I guess you're gonna be the one who make the call on like designing the salon with other team.
Yeah, so usually when I receive a project, we get the layout of the space, the LOD, and then I work directly with our CEO, Tony True, on the layout. And then once we have a layout, we're gonna present it to our franchisee. And once everybody is approved is when we go into planning and permitting. So everybody has their input. You know, even though we're a franchise, we're not strict on, oh, it has to be this, this, and this. So there is flexibility in our design. So the next time you go to grand opening, you know, you're gonna see maybe a few things change. Maybe more Steelwave, maybe, we'll see.
There will be more Steelwave. Wing wing. With the space, you said the ideal is 3,000
to 3,500 square feet.
And how many chairs typically you try to fit in that space?
Pedicure chair wise for 3,000 square feet would be 24.
24
chairs. Yep. And here they try to fit in more chairs. So that's why you see the chairs here are more closely to each other. So they fit in 2 extra chairs to be 26. Wow. But usually we have 24 chairs and we have 16 stations. Here they try to fit in more station as well. So this is the operator's third location, third Venetian. So because the other 2 was so busy, she knows that she's gonna need more chairs and more tables. So we worked with her directly on the design.
Wow, wow, awesome. Can you tell me a little bit, in the decision making, why did you choose to use the screen partitions in the space?
So before we've used partition, but it was made of like acrylics. Or it was made of wood layered on top of acrylics, and it was very like flimsy. You know, as we have this beautiful hallway, the clients would like to touch, and when they touch that, it was like wobbly. So we said, okay, that doesn't look very like classy. It doesn't look like high quality, something that Venetian delivers. So that's why we went with stainless steel partitions.
Yeah. Okay. I know that this is not your first time using this product. And it is our first time having the honor to work with Venetian Nail Spa. I want to ask you a little bit about your experience working with other suppliers and how is it differ from like working with Steelwave so far?
So usually I don't work directly with vendors because my GC handles all of that. But in this one particular location, I kind of took the hands-on with everything. You came recommended by one of my GC. He's actually going to be building one of my salon here in Daytona. So he recommended you guys, and when I got in touch with you, I like the way you guys communicate with me back and forth. Even though we may not work directly in the future, but I'm going to tell the GC that, hey, I like this vendor, use this vendor for my partition. So I'm going to start slowly. You're going to see me slowly taking a step back, and I'm going to handle you I'm going to switch you over to my GC.
So you're gonna step like a level above and more.
Yeah, I'll be involved in the designing where the stainless steel goes, but as far as logistic and communication, my GC usually will handle that. And that was one of my concern and fear, handling a logistic here, because I've done it before with other companies, and it was just a nightmare for me. And I was very concerned the first time.
Yeah.
Because it was delayed at a project in Houston, and we had to do a grand opening without the partition.
Wow.
Yep. So logistic, quality, durability, those are all of my concerns, and you made the whole checklist.
Thank you so much. When I got the inquiries, you mentioned like, no, I'm Ethan, the reference. He said, can it be done in 6 weeks? I was like, I'm gonna try my best in my ability to deliver it on time, and like we hit that goal. So I'm so glad, and I guess I'm lucky because I was able to work directly with Tony Nguyen.
We're very happy with the quality, the work, the logistic, the timing of this, the communication. So definitely we would still use Steelwave in the future.
Thank you so much. I'm so flattered to hear that. And Venetian partners are really nice to work with, great people, very friendly and very open. They don't gatekeep anything. So if you're looking for a partnerships, then...
So we officially became a franchise last month. So we switched from a licensing model to an actual franchise model.
Wow.
Yep. So every Venetian is going to convert to a franchisee.
Perfect. See, that's the good news.
So that means that we will put everything kind of under the corporate control, the quality. So you're going to see more consistent throughout, you know, versus a licensing where everyone can kind of do their own thing.
Yeah.
So we're building the brand stronger.
Okay. Thank you so much. Well, to wrap this up, since Tony is busy and he gotta run somewhere, I want to ask one final question. If for anyone who are looking for a steel decor partitions provider like these product right here, would you recommend Steelwave?
Yes. Yes, I would. And it's not just because I'm a customer of Steelwave. For Venetian, my brand and reputation is on the line. If it's something that's not going to work out, I would be honest and truth about it, because it's going to fall on my shoulder if somebody say, "Oh my God, you recommended Steelwave and they're terrible." You know, that's not me.
Yeah.
You know, I don't get anything out of this. I'm not affiliated with Steelwave, but for 100%, I would use Steelwave.
Yeah, he's awesome. When I said like, can we do an interview? Sure, why not?
I usually don't do interviews.
I was so shocked. Hey,
yeah.
I guess
You work hard with me, so I think, you know, at your request, I have to say yes.
Oh my gosh, I can't sleep tonight now.
All right. Thank you so much for stopping by. We'll give you a tour later.
Thank you. We're looking forward to it. Now I'm gonna give you back to the staff. Talk to you later.